Good morning. I'm Rosemary and you're listening to The Lightwalker's Path. It's a place to develop new insights, find your soul's purpose, hear enlightening conversation, and be inspired. Hi there, I'm your host, Rosemary DiTrolio, and this is The Lightwalker's Path, streaming on multiple platforms. And you can join me every Tuesday at 10 Eastern Time to develop new insights and your soul's purpose. We have a great place for enlightening discussions and inspired guests and interesting talk. You can find replays on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many streaming platforms. And today I am going to speak with one of my favorite people, Cara Fragale from Care About Your Health. She's a nutritional counselor, holistic nutritionist, board certified master herbalist, fitness expert, and healthy chef. And I've had my pleasure to work with her both in the nutritional aspect for myself and also for physical therapy. And she's phenomenal at both. And she's a wonderful person besides. So I want you to welcome Cara to the show.
Hi,
Hi,
Rosemary.
Cara.
Thank you for
How are
that.
you?
I'm good.
Good, good, good. So I was excited to have you on because I've worked with you both in the physical therapy field, for my body and also for nutrition. And I was excited to know that you're also a healthy chef. So I'm really interested in how you help people in that way as well. So I wanted to first invite you to share something about your business or yourself that either I don't know or you would like the audience to know. Is there anything
Well,
you want to mention?
I think you covered it all with so many things. But with my business, I'm able to help people with nutrition as well as incorporating the herbal side of it with being a master herbalist. And I also have the science side of food. So between the science, the holistic, the herbs, I can usually find a way to help somebody to make them better, to heal them in some way.
Okay, and I can attest to this that Carrot has a rockin' shape and body, and I know she has a ton of kids. So I always look at her and I'm like, oh, I'm such in awe of you. So I'm going to ask you, what inspired you, and were you always on this really healthy journey of food and cooking? Is this something that's always been part of you, or did you come to it at a certain time in your life?
It came to it at a certain time in my life. I grew up with a very healthy background. I have a mom that was an RN, always cooking healthy. I was the kid that never got soda. Now I'm grateful, but when you're a kid, I never got soda. We never got candy. I never tried Lucky Charms till I was older.
Mm-hmm.
I started off on a different journey. I actually have a bachelor's in economics and a master's in marketing.
Oh.
And I just wasn't fitting in with that. It was
Mm-hmm.
fine. It was fun, but it wasn't who I was. And one day I just decided to go back to school. And I ended up going to Cornell to learn the nutrition side. And then decided that wasn't enough. The science was great, but I wanted the holistic side. And then decided that wasn't enough. I wanted to embrace the herbal side, which I
I
contribute
love
to.
that.
Yeah.
Are there any herbs that you know that help people with their food, mood, and joy? That's like the name for our show today is Food, Mood, and Joy because I know that healthy foods make me feel better. So are there
Sure.
certain foods that usually tell your clients that can uplift their mood or make them feel better generally, or any herbal things that you know?
But for me, it's more the calming ones. It's uplifting and calming, but you need to calm yourself down. Most people in today's society have anxiety, they have stress, they're overwhelmed, and there's I when I teach a class on stress and anxiety, I say there's different levels. So you have in the
Hmm.
holistic world your little chamomile tea. That's when you've had a kind of bad day. Your boss yelled at you, or the kids were a little sad, something like that. You have your little chamomile tea. Then you have, if the day's worse or the week's been bad, lemon balm. Lemon
I
balm's
love.
in the mint family, and it's a great herbal tea.
Mhm.
And it's going to pop out soon. You are able to buy it in the stores coming up, and that you can tear off the little leaves and put them in your water, let them infuse, and then you enjoy that water throughout the day. And then there's also ashwagandha is an herb. That's more of a pill form. That's when you're really
Mhm.
struggling and want to calm down and do good.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
anything with the B's in it, B12 is a great
The
energy
B12.
booster or boost your metabolism. Yeah.
It's interesting you mentioned the lemon balm. So I grow that, right?
Oh,
And
yes.
I take lemon balm leaves and I add it with leaves of rose petals that I grow,
Mhm.
and I infuse it, and you can make a hot tea or a cold tea. And my husband loves it cold in the summer, and it is really calming for the nerves. So we love that. We also like ashwagandha at night to help me sleep. And I found that,
Right.
like for me at my age, I was waking up, but now with ashwagandha, it usually helps me stay asleep.
Stay
So
asleep.
that's
And
really helpful.
there's 2 great herbs for sleeping. Since you brought that up, I'll jump in. There's
Okay.
valerian root, and valerian root, usually comes in a tea form, and that's a
Hmm.
really strong sleeping tea. That is not one you'd wanna have in your water and
Yeah.
bring to work because 'cause you'd be at your desk sound asleep. And
Yeah.
the other one
Yeah.
is passion flower, but
I
they
like
do make
passion
a
flower.
lemon balm valerian root,
Yeah.
and when I had to fly to China once. It was nonstop, 14 hours to Japan. So I
Oh,
decided I was going to try valerian root to help me sleep, get through this flight. It was going to be great without ever trying it before. So I got
oh,
on the
really?
airplane and I was on Korean Airlines. This beautiful flight attendant gives me a cup of hot water. So I make my little valerian root tea. And with my mom, I look at her and I said, I don't know if this is working. That's kind of the last thing I remember saying till I was out cold and I was
Mm.
asleep for so long. Then I felt this water being sprayed on my face, and I woke up to
Oh
this beautiful flight
no.
attendant misting my face because she thought I was dead. So the
Oh.
valerian root knocked me out. That was a good one.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's so different how people's bodies work. Like I love lemon balm and
Yes.
I can't use valerian because I get weird dreams from it. I
It
know some
does. It
people
does
love
do
it.
that. Mhm.
Weird dreams like, oh, and it just doesn't vibe with me, but certain things do. Like lemon balm is a great one for me.
Yeah.
So I know people have different things that work for them. But that is so funny
Everyone's
about the
different.
flight. Oh my
Yeah, for me, I was
gosh.
just out. Yep. Yep. I don't even think
Yeah.
there was a dream. I was just
Oh
out.
my gosh. How about for dreaming? I've heard of mugwort and a couple other things that help people that want to access dreaming.
They do
Lavender, do you know of
mugwort
any?
strong. Yeah, mugwort is a strong herb. You have to be very careful with mugwort. You don't want the side effects. You don't want to overdo mugwort. Back in the
Okay.
day, the herb to get rid of nightmares was rosemary, and
Oh,
you would
see.
take a sprig of rosemary and put it under your pillow at night, and that
Hmm.
would ward off the bad dreams.
That's
And
funny.
really, it's just breathing in the smell of
Yeah.
rosemary. Rosemary
Yeah.
is a calming herb. Yes,
Yes,
but
it's interesting. I do like the Young Living essential oils, and I know that a lot of those are really concentrated. And you can put them in the diffuser at night, and they kind of enter your body and chill you out. And those have been really helpful. Like my husband loves the lavender. I put that on his spine, and it makes him very relaxed at night. So
yes,
there's oils too that have this like component with the herbs and the flowers, which are is
they
really
definitely
really
do.
nice.
The two strongest calming smells are oranges. So fresh oranges, just breathing it in. So the next time you eat an
Mhm.
orange, smell one and see if you're like, oh,
I love it.
relax. When I teach a
Yeah.
class, I'll pass them out. And lavender, of course. Lavender is just
Yeah.
renowned. There is a lavender field that has a winery on it, and someone told me it was they went there to have some wine, and there was a light breeze. So between the lavender breeze and the
Oh.
wine, it was Wizard of Oz all over again in the poppy
Oh
fields.
my
Yeah.
gosh, that is too
So,
funny.
yep, very
Yeah.
calming.
Yeah, I used to make a spray with essential water and essential orange oil to spray my
Yeah.
classroom because it
Mhm.
kills germs, but it's also really calming for children. I have, grandkids, and because I do the oils and things, I gave some different oils to my daughter-in-law, and she said it's helpful for the kids. So I know a lot of these
Right.
things have are good for children, but it's always good to get like advice from someone that really knows what they're doing, like you,
Yes,
because you
absolutely.
don't
Because
want to use
herbs
something
can be,
harmful or,
serious
you
too. Right, you
know,
can always overdo an herb, so you have to be
yeah,
careful. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you do also you said you grew up eating healthy. Were you trained like in the healthy cooking field, or is it something that you just did because you're really good at it?
No,
Did you
no,
have to get
no.
special training for that?
I grew up in Asia. I grew up in the Philippines.
Oh,
So
I
in the
didn't know
Philippines,
that.
no, yeah. So that's where my whole herbal background kind of comes in. It's
Oh,
just what we
interesting.
grew up with. I also
Yeah.
had lived in Wuhan, China a little bit, and no, I did not bring COVID with me. That was too long ago. But everything was herbs. And we had actually two live-in chefs. And my mom was a really good cook. So
Hmm.
I was a terrible cook. And I ended up going into New York, back to a culinary school and learning to cook with whole foods. And then I went to a farm that did all these farm to table cooking, and I studied with them for a little while. So now I teach cooking classes, but they're fun. They're the next one coming up is working with dried herbs versus fresh herbs and how to make these
Uh-huh.
great flavors and design your own meal, but mostly showing you how simple it is to cook with the vegetables that are all around us. We're in such farm country out here.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
your recipes. Whenever I was at the PT, I'd pick them up. I tried like the cabbage, what was it? Something with the cabbage without the roll. So the
Oh, yes, yes,
deconstructed
yes.
cabbage thing, and I've
Yep.
tried some of
Those
the
cabbage.
bean burger and a couple other recipes, and they were very tasty. So it's good
Well,
because I was trying to transition into more, and I eat a lot of vegetables, but transition more into vegetable based than meat, which
right.
I also love.
Right, I love meat too. So it's all whole
Yeah.
foods, and the best things about the recipes that I use, the shorter they look on paper, the less instructions there are, the easier it is for people to follow, but also
Hmm.
still have flavors. Because there's nothing worse than eating something healthy that tastes awful. If you want
Yeah.
someone to really learn to eat healthy, it has to taste good too. It has to have flavor. So I try
Yeah.
to really focus in on that.
I like the instead of the soy sauce, I've been using the aminos. I can't think of Bragg's aminos. Those are
Mhm.
great for flavoring, and it's even better if I do a stir fry. So I noticed
No,
that
those
you
are
had used
good.
that too. It's very
Yeah,
healthy with the
someone
enzymes, right?
gluten-free would want that. Yes, all good.
Yeah. Yes, those are very good. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, like, I know you have a business. So you in your business you work with the cooking, and what else do you do with your business aside
So
from the PT?
it's interesting. When I first graduated and I started doing nutrition and just started the holistic side, but was able to start doing nutrition, Orthopedic Institute, so one of the big orthopedic surgical places, asked me, all right, so insurances started saying that you cannot have surgery if you're not
Yeah.
healthy. And
Right.
five of them cut it back. I mean, you could literally have your gown on for surgery and they tell you hit the door. And it could
Yeah.
mean you were overweight, your diabetes was crazy, your triglycerides were out of control, whatever it was, you're just turned down. And they asked me to come in, and it's one of the best times that the kind of holistic nutrition world collides with the medical world. And they were
Mm,
awesome. So they started to embrace me. And then the rheumatologist said, there's young kids like in their 30s showing up with RA, even younger, and they don't want to go on all these
mhm.
meds this young.
Right,
Can
right.
you help them? How do you calm down autoimmune? And so I started taking on autoimmune cases recently, just some of the cancer cases. So I started off in that field, and then slowly, as I would finish up different degrees in schools, add in more and more and more of the combining what I knew about food to calm your body
Mhm,
down, to calm inflammation down, to help you lose weight in a realistic way, but
mhm.
for a lifetime. Not I'm on a diet. This is going to work for
Mhm,
6 months. What? No, this is lifetime. I calm your body down from inflammation. Once you
mhm.
start feeling good, because most people know what it's like to feel bad or worse, and they forgot what it's like to feel
Yeah,
healthy. And
that's
then
true.
once you feel that, you can start to know what's causing your body to hurt or ache or bloat or flare up, and avoid those foods or those bad foods, and start to enjoy life again. So
All right, hold that thought because we have a sponsor break coming up, the Lightwalker's Path, and come right back because we're going to be having more interesting conversation with Kara today and healthy foods for your mood. So we'll be right back after this break. Hi, welcome back. The Lightwalker's Path, and I'm Rosemary. My guest today is Kara Fragale, and her business is Care About Your Health. And we were having a great discussion on herbs and foods and food for your mood and things to make you feel better. And we were discussing that before the break. So, okay, so when a client comes to you, now this I'm going to tell you because this is from my perspective. I've been to I don't know how many people, and I'm like, I can't lose weight. All right, I'm still on this rabbit hole. So it all comes down to, well, as we age,
oh
it's
god,
metabolic weight gain. I've
yeah.
heard this now
Mm-mm,
from an
mm-mm.
endocrinologist. I've heard it from my GP. I've heard it from a gynecologist, and I'm not accepting it. So I want to ask, when someone comes to you and they say it's metabolic weight, what advice or what would you do to put them on the track of losing a couple pounds?
So
Help me.
help you. The first thing I do, I find out everything they're doing, what medications they're on. And I don't ever tell anyone to stop a medication. I just find out what they're on. I want to know if that's interfering with anything. You're never a victim of your metabolism and never a victim of your age.
Hmm.
It's not. You can exercise, you can lose weight, you can feel healthy, you can feel amazing. And I find that I get to play the role of a detective. Is
Hmm.
it are you a little insulin resistant, meaning you're not breaking your sugars down the way you need to be? Is your metabolism low, which you can boost through simple spices? Spices is a great metabolism booster. Cayenne pepper sprinkled here and there is fantastic.
Hmm.
Exercise in the morning. There's different ways to boost that.
Hmm.
I ask questions about their lifestyle, and a
Hmm.
lot of it is finding out what works for them, or what they're uncomfortable with, what they're comfortable with. And then I have to get 90% is getting your head to accept what I have to tell you and learn from it. And I come up with a program customized to a very specific person. So
Hmm.
I figure it out. We give it a try. You see me again. We talk all the time, but you see me again every 2 weeks. So I know what to change. I know what to tweak. I know what to figure out. And I've
Hmm.
been pretty successful with almost everyone. A few have slipped through the cracks, but usually it's because their life has interfered. They have to put their attention elsewhere and not on themselves,
Right.
and not put themselves first. So I ask everybody to give me
Hmm.
a month, not a 21-day cleanse, nothing like that, but give me a month to change how your body works. Then
Hmm.
after that, we'll go from there. But I need 1 month of listening to me.
Right. Right. That is good advice. That
Yeah.
is good advice.
Yep.
Okay. So I know we've had conversations about unusual things that may have happened to each other in our lives. And what would you be willing to talk about as far as, let's say, godly interventions or the ways that you've been helped in your life that were surprising to you? Do you have
I've
anything like that that you want to
three.
share with us?
I've had three of them. The one that specifically hit me was 8 years ago. Um, it was maybe 11 o'clock at night. I was doing laundry and I realized the laundry was not drying. And I thought, you
Hmm.
know what? The last time this happened, there was a bird that had built a nest in the dryer vent. I bet that darn bird built a nest. I probably never put the screen cover on or it fell off, but it was too dangerous to climb up a ladder at night. And I was going to wait till the morning to find this bird's nest. So
Hmm.
according and to Morristown emergency room. So now there's something bad about to happen.
Oh
I
gosh.
was I was 20 feet above the ground. So I had climbed up a 15 or 17-foot ladder, and then they add your height to it. And I'm up on tiptoes, reaching into a dryer vent. And when I
Hmm.
put my hand in the vent, I feel the nest, and it's an aha moment. I was right. There was this bird nest. I'm going to fix this. It's 5:30 in the morning, by the way, or it was 6:30 in the morning. I pull out the nest, not realizing a bird was in it. And the
Oh.
bird hit me in the face, and I went straight back onto a driveway. And I had enough
Hmm.
time to think, I can't survive this. This is how I'm going to go. And these poor kids, I think I had, I had six of
Yes.
them, are going to find me out here. And I hit the ground so hard that I bounced. And I remember thinking, I survived the first hit. And then I hit the ground a second time, and survived. And I sat up, and my head was super swollen. So I knew in my head I probably had a
Mhm.
brain bleed, but I was still alive. And one of my children, my son, came running out and he said, "Mom, something's wrong with your head. You need to go
Oh.
to the hospital." And I said, "Oh, please. I work for an orthopedic company. I'm just going to drive." I got in the car and actually drove
Oh.
4 miles to orthopedics. And luckily, when I walked in the door, I started to get very sick. That was from the head concussion. And I noticed my neck hurt, and
Oh.
the back and neck surgeon was there, and some of the PAs. And I walked in, I said, "Something's really wrong with me." And he looked at me and he goes, "Kara, I'm pretty sure your neck's broken." So
Oh
they
god.
actually, yeah, wrapped my neck up in a towel that you put a hot pack, but not with a hot pack in it, and got me out to the car and drove me to Hackettstown. Hackettstown stabilized me and ambulanced me. They couldn't get a helicopter, ambulanced me to Morristown. Morristown ran through all the screening. Now I'm finally in a bed waiting for a surgeon came in, and he wouldn't look me in the eye. And he sat
Oh,
at the end of the bed and he said, Kara, do you believe in divine intervention? And I said, Of course I do, but why? And my heart's pounding because I think something,
uh,
And he said, Kara, where your neck is fractured, in all the years I have been a surgeon at Morristown, I have never seen a survivor, ever. You should
oh,
not be here right now. You should
whew,
at
getting
least be alive.
chills.
So you need to believe someone has helped you. And then he brought
Wow,
up
I'm getting
stuff.
chills.
So
Wow.
yeah, so that was one of my first, not one of my first, that was my last experience I've had, but that was the one closest to me personally.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
gosh, yes. Oh,
yeah.
I remember you told me that story. I'm still getting chills from it.
No, so
Oh
that
boy.
was, yes, yeah. And
Yeah.
then I had one that saved my child's life, but
Okay.
that
Well, go ahead. Tell me that one too, because I
was,
know you had mentioned that to me as well. Are you allowed to tell you that, or he gonna call you
yeah,
later?
yeah, so no, no, no. When I was 9 months pregnant with my daughter, my dad passed away. Like literally did not, he had cancer, but it hadn't spread. It was
Oh,
unexpected. We knew he would pass, but he just passed away. And I know he had wanted to be alive for her birth. So it was really
oh,
sad. It was really kind of shocking that he passed away so quick. Um, Maybe about 5 days after he had passed, I went in for my normal checkup. The OBGYN said everything looks great. You should have this baby in the next week. Everything's fine. Went home, woke up in the morning, and I could feel her kicking, but I've never
mm,
experienced this. In my head was my dad's voice telling me, Your baby's going to die. You need to get to hope. It was
oh,
that strong. I had a migraine. I've never had a migraine in my life.
oh
I didn't
gosh.
know what to do. So and this is a lesson to everyone. If you have an intuition, you act on it because someone's telling
Mm,
you something. And I did. I called the OBGYN and said, You're going to think I'm crazy. I know I checked out great yesterday, but my dad's in my head and I don't know how to explain this. And she was very kind and she said, Please come in. You're so stressed out. Come in. She did an ultrasound. She said, Something's up. Let's get you to the emergency room.
mm, mm.
And they did some tests. They said she's going to be stillborn. This baby can't survive. There's
Oh,
something really, really wrong. I didn't even have a time for an epidural. They gave me shots. I
yeah.
don't really remember a lot of
Oh
it.
God.
They did an emergency C-section, and she was still very, very, very sick. It turns out she is the only survivor as of last year that I know of listeria. I had picked up listeria from a restaurant, which is a foodborne bacteria. It can
Oh,
be soft cheeses. A restaurant had cross contaminated the food. So
mm-hmm.
fast forward, this baby lives. I listened to my intuition. I felt great. I got called into work. I was home from the hospital. She was 3 months old, and they asked if I could bring the baby. We're so desperate. Could you come in? I was doing PT at the time, and I brought her in with me. She doesn't move. She's laying on a table, and a
Oh.
stranger walked by, a woman, very much like you, Rosemary, and she walked. And I said, "Please ignore the baby. I just had to bring her." And she goes, "I love babies," and she tweaked my daughter's foot, and then she stopped and she started to do Reiki over my child, and she said, Oh, your dad needs to know he died early to save her life. You need to
I
know this.
just got chills. They
Yeah, she
confirmed.
said,
My angels just confirmed.
yeah, she said she was
That's
born
oh
with a
my
good
God.
heart, but all children are. Hers will stay good. She'll change 3 lives. One of them is not yours. And she went all the way up to her head and she stopped and she just looked at me and I'm bawling. And she said, Oh, honey, your dad needed you to know this, and walked away. I packed the baby up. I
Oh,
walked upstairs. I said, Did anybody tell this woman my story? They're like, No, Kara, that's private. You haven't even been around. We don't even talk about you. And I had to wait about 4 months and I stalked her and I called her up and she said, I am a Reiki master, and sometimes the dead come back, and your dad wanted you to know that their souls collided. A piece of him was left behind. He got to meet her, and he
oh,
he needed to go so she could live, and he could warn you. So
oh, I love that.
those are
I
my
love
moments.
that. Yeah, I never heard that part of your story, so that is
Mhm.
amazing. That's cool.
Yeah,
If not, if
that
you
was
didn't right, if you didn't
strong.
find her, I would have thought for sure she was an angel because that's quite amazing.
Yeah,
That's really something.
yeah,
Wow. And how old is your daughter today?
she is now 16.
16. Thank God.
16,
And you
great. And she also has, out of my family and having any gifts, she has the strongest of all the gifts. A little scary to her when she was little.
yeah,
She's learned to live with it and embrace it, but um,
she
without us
intuitive?
Yes, when she was very little, she saw my dad at the cemetery. You can't be 3 years old and sit there talking to a 6'5" man in
Yes,
the
yes,
cemetery,
yes.
looking up, giggling, telling you Poppy loves you. She would talk about him. It eventually faded, I think when she was
Yeah.
4. And if
Mhm.
someone passed in the family before we even knew it, she'd be like, "Ralph's dead," or something, she would
Oh,
say.
wow. She's a natural medium.
She is very natural. She's stronger than anyone in the family. So
Wow.
she's doing good with it. She kind of puts it to
Mhm.
the side and is just a typical 16-year-old that knows things
Yeah.
faster than someone else. Yeah.
She'll pick it up again though when she's ready. I find that I always knew things as a kid and growing up and that and I kind of put it aside through, your adolescence and college years because you've got other things that you're more involved with and then you pick it up again when you're ready. So I think that if it's her past, she's going to definitely come back to it. So that
I
is
think
very
so.
interesting. Yeah. Do you have a son too that you said had health issues or no? Am I mistaken? I
I
thought you had
do.
another
I do. Yeah.
situation.
Yes. And he's I think if you ask me, one of my biggest struggles that I've ever had in my life and what keeps me very, very grounded is my son. He
Mhm.
was born with the worst heart defect you could ever have. If there was a list of the worst, he would be the worst. It
Mm.
was considered a fluke of nature.
Mhm.
It's genetic. I never saw
Mhm.
it coming. I had him very, very young. So it
Mm.
wasn't like I was,
Yeah.
70
Yeah.
years old having a baby. So,
Right.
he had to have 3 major open heart surgeries. He's
Mm.
lost a kidney, and he has passed away 3 times, and he can
Wow.
tell you some stories.
Oh, I'd love to talk to him someday.
You would? I think a neurologist had heard of him and at Children's Hospital and had heard what he was talking about at 4 years old when he passed away, and
Mhm.
he was gone for a while.
Wow.
And they came back, and he came back talking away about what he saw.
That's amazing. Wow.
Mhm.
So we're coming up on a sponsor break again, so I'm gonna have to stop you, but I want you to finish up that thought right after the break. We're our Lightwalkers path, so please come back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail so we can finish and talk more interesting stories with Kara. Welcome back. This is Rosemary, and this is the Lightwalkers Path. And my guest today is Kara Fragale. Care about your health. And we were just talking about some unusual experiences Kara had with her children and their health concerns. And she was speaking about when her son crossed over and came back, and he was 4 years old. So I would like you to, if you could remember any little tidbit that he had said or that you remember that he said when he returned, that
He
would be
did, it
very.
was interesting. He said, "Mom, we don't have" what do you call it? "We don't have a greeter." And I was like, "A greeter? What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I was in this room and you were crying, Mom." And I was actually singing. I just can't sing very good, but I guess he thought I was crying.
Oh,
When they were trying to resuscitate him, they asked me what calms him to try to get him back. They're trying to get him back, and
oh,
I sung a lullaby that I sung to him every night, trying to and just whispering in his ear, "Come back, you need to come back." And,
oh.
he said there was a group of really pretty women that were dressed really pretty because you gotta remember he's very
Yes,
little,
4,
and he said
yes.
they were all there, and he said there were waterfalls, it was really flowers, Mom, it was so pretty there, but he said the women came up to him and said that he didn't have a greeter yet. One day he would have a greeter, so the next time it's for real, you would have a greeter, so don't be afraid. So when I asked what a greeter was, there was nobody he knew that had passed. So when
Okay.
my dad died, and my dad died 15 years ago, so my son was fairly young, he's like, "Mom, we have our first greeter. That's who'll come meet us." And
Oh,
that's what we met. They
getting chills.
explained to him, yeah, at 3.5, 4 years old, that you'll have a greeter come greet you when it's your turn, someone that will make you feel safe. So,
Yes.
that's what I tell the kids. If you see the greeter, you know who it is.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's something. I when I was really young, I had dreams of the other side, and they did show me like the field of the flowers and the gate, and the animals were running with the people, and everything was really beautiful. And then I saw buildings and people learning. It's like things don't stop. And what they told me is when a person crosses young, they continue to learn and grow on the other side. Because I lost a sister when I was 3, and she passed at 14. And they told me that she was she crosses kids over, and that she has completed her learning on the other side, and she's a guide. So that's
Oh,
her mission.
there you go. Exactly. And
Yeah,
these
yeah,
women that came up to him were there his temporary guides and not the greeter that he'll know. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. When
My no, sorry. Go ahead.
I was in Jamaica on vacation and my back was killing me and I twisted a weird way and I was on the top of a flight of stairs and I passed out and I fell down a flight of stairs onto concrete. Again, another fall, but I'm really not that
Oh
clumsy.
boy.
And I remember I suddenly, to me, I thought it was real. I was on a beach walking. I remember the sand wasn't white though. The sand was tan. I thought that was odd. And I was walking next to someone very tall. And the very tall person said, "Are you happy?" I said, "Yeah, I'm really happy in life." And he said, "But is anybody else happy? Are you making other people happy?" And I remember saying, "That's all it takes in the world. You just need to make people happy." And in the background, I could hear my kids screaming, "Mom, mom, mom," and my husband screaming, "Kara." And I kept looking down the beach, irritated that my children were being so rude. I'm in the middle of this conversation. These rude kids are yelling at me. And I sat up and I focused in on my daughter and I said, "Maya, why are you being so rude? I'm trying to have a conversation with this person and you're interrupting." And I had to come all the way back. And she said, "Mom, we think you died. You're very blue right now. And who were you talking to?" And
Oh,
then I kind of looked around and I realized where I was. And it was actually kind of a peaceful thing to think, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
scary.
Wasn't scary.
But it does
Yeah.
teach you a lesson, it's not about you, it's that ripple effect. Did you help somebody? Are you continuously throughout life at least
Hmm.
trying to put your best face and your best foot
Yeah.
forward in a true way, not in a fake way, not a fake front.
Yeah. I really believe that that's part of why we're here, and I think now you're going to notice there's a lot of people doing, communication, podcasts, connections, and I think it's because we're all being called at the same time. And I channeled this, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago. They said in 10 years, 10 to 15 years is what they told me, which is now. First, they told me about the worldwide upheaval, but they wouldn't tell me what it was, and that was COVID. And then they said it's going to be a wake up call for people to join forces of light and to fight like the negativity with their positiveness. And it's like you're not really fighting it, you're just living in that positive mind frame and you're connecting with people. And that I was really drawn that I had to do this to connect with people and to let people know there's more out there than what you see. It's that's all drama, but that's not what the truth is. The truth is that we're all connected. So really, if you're cutting your brother's arm off, you're cutting your own arm off too.
Sure, sure.
You affect, it's the ripple effect, like you said, affects everything and everything you do, and all your feelings, they go out to the field, and everybody feels
Absolutely,
them. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Sometimes it's even a quick smile someone gives you, and you're like, "Oh, that was so nice," and then you go on to do or try to do something nice and kind, and that's why I like not being an economics major and being
yes,
in more of the healing and healthy field because you can share your knowledge and I can play detective and really try to use whatever it is I have to help somebody else out and make them feel good in a real way.
yeah. I love that. I know whenever I see you, you're always so cheerful, and it brings a smile to my face. And I know you've done it for other people as well. And I think that's part of the gift of, when you bring that happiness to people, they spread it. And I figured the ones that are the I guess the grumpiest, they need it the most.
I think
Those
so.
are the ones.
I when I've been through so much with when you have anyone that's sick, it's awful. But when you have a child that
Ugh,
you just are always, it's not like the heart defect was fixed and this is we're in great shape.
yeah.
It's always there. It's always there. He had a heart attack May 13th, 2020, right in the midst of COVID, nothing to do with
Oh,
COVID. So it's always there. So if he's healthy and the rest of the kids are
yeah.
healthy, I don't have any reason to be in a bad mood. So that's why when you always see me, I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, thank God. And
right,
you
right.
you have 6 kids, right? Do you have
Yes,
6?
6.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Ah, I know, it just blows my mind because I know like even one or two, that's a lot of kids, and you got six of them.
I
You have
think they
you have like a
entertain
baseball
themselves. It
team.
might be easier. They always have someone to pick on or someone to
Yeah.
be a best friend with. They can flop who they like best and who they don't like, and
Wow. What's your
fine.
best parenting advice? What have you learned about like raising your kids? What's your best advice for
I
raising
do
kids in
listen to
today's
them.
time?
And I try to be a more laid back mom, but a mom with rules,
Mhm.
and not your best friend. We do have rules, and I stand by those rules, and I expect the kindness back and out of them. I
Mhm.
I I try to walk the walk.
Yeah.
So, right, let them live through examples. And
Yes.
and I do like adventure for them, and I do like travel and learning the world and not just seeing the world like this. I was raised
Yeah.
around the world and to learn other cultures and to learn to accept what might be a little off, but that's somebody else's culture and beliefs, and I try to raise them the same
Mhm.
way. So we do travel, we do take them out of school. I am in trouble a lot doing that.
That's okay. It's a good experience. I mean, I taught kids for years, and I think it's really important to have those experiences to round you out and also to make you understand that it's not just your culture, it's the world, it's a human culture. And I
Right.
know, my son, his wife is Brazilian, and my two grandkids, they've been back and forth to Brazil, and they're both, bilingual, and it's amazing. And my son is one of those people too that like he has friends from all different backgrounds. He's never been prejudiced. He's just very open-hearted. And his wife is like that too. So the kids are learning this multicultural kind of infusion, which I just adore. You go there and we try different foods, or they have different people over that,
Yep.
have
Yep.
backgrounds that are unlike ours. And I think that's a great experience for kids to have that in their life, and for parents to
I
allow it. I
definitely
think it's good.
Definitely.
It's really
The
good.
school did let me take one of the older ones, when she was, maybe 7th grade, to China for a while, and so what
Oh,
they did, they said, "Listen, every day you have to send an email back to the class on an
right.
experience you shared, and we'll start to grade you off that." And the kids in the class, she started to tell the gross foods that we had to eat, like
Yeah, yeah. Chicken
my
feet.
parents ate snails, and the kids were so involved in what thing we were going to eat next. There was fish eyeballs involved, and then
Oh boy.
with the head floating because we were in southern China. It was funny. So
My brother-in-law went to China too on a some sort of trip, and his thing was like chicken feet soup with the feet coming up. But
yep,
my mom
yep,
said when she was young, you'd eat all parts of the chicken and that'd be the collagen. That would be, it looks
it
gross, but
is
it's actually
great. Yeah,
good for you.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
I thought that was kind of unique. Yeah, so so are you bilingual? Do you speak Chinese and other languages too, or?
When we lived in the Philippines, you did have to take Tagalog in school, and my parents made us speak Tagalog. My dad was huge on education. He was commander of Air Force One for 3 presidents, and my mom was the
Oh,
grounding nurse that traveled she'd go to leper colonies and learn the herbs. My dad was education, education. So he said, you need to speak fluent Tagalog. And it's a very easy language. I've lost most of it, unfortunately, but it's a cross
mhm.
between Spanish and their own. Then I went
Huh.
to school for Mandarin Chinese, and the problem is it's tones. Tagalog is not tones, but Mandarin Chinese is very book speaking. So
Mhm.
when you go to China, there's Mandarin and Cantonese, two different languages. And every
Huh.
province, which is like going to a different state, has their own language.
Yes.
It's it's
Yeah.
virtually it's virtually impossible. And for example, if I said Hugh or Hugh, it's the same word, but one was a horse and one was your mom. So I think I called my mom a horse several times. I don't know. I tried. I'm horrible
Wow.
at speaking Mandarin, but I
Oh gosh.
I try.
That is so interesting. We're coming up on another sponsor break. So we will be right back. Lightwalker's Path, Grow Your Spirit with Rosemary, and my guest today, Kara. And we'll be back for the last little section of our talk today. And hang on tight and don't go away. Welcome back. This is the Lightwalker's Path. And I'm Rosemary. My guest is Kara Fragale. And our last little section, we were having a conversation during the break. And I was telling Kara that I had experienced past life regression myself, and some of my upcoming guests have done this and do that. So, Kara, so here's how it goes. So you're very relaxed, and the person talks to you and they put you in a very relaxed state, almost like a meditative state, and they give you some suggestions and they walk you back in time. You know, you enter a door, your body's relaxed, and then they say, look at your feet. They don't always say that, but in my case, they did. And then I saw that I had different feet and different shoes on. So then from there, they bring you, they'll suggest, okay, I want you to go to a part of this lifetime where you had either difficulty or that you need to heal. And then you go to that part. So the good news is that it works. The bad news is that they usually bring you to a part that needs healing. So it's not like you're going to have a great pleasure trip. So when I came back, I was really PO'd because I didn't go to a place I wanted to be. I went to a place that needed healing. So I had an
Where was
experience
it?
of that.
Yeah.
A couple different ones. One of them I was in Kentucky, and that's where I knew the husband I'm with now, and we had issues then of a certain type, and that really annoyed me because like, why am I going there? I don't want to be there, And I had to work it out through the suggestions that she gave me. Another time when I was regressed, where was that one? I went to an abbey where I was a priest. I was a Celtic priest. And I remember walking through the stones and then opening the door and meeting the people that were the religious people in there. So I've had different ones. Another one, I think I was being tortured, but she took me out of that one quick. And I was tortured because I could see things and I had psychic abilities.
Oh,
So, yeah. And so I shut it down. And then another one was a spontaneous regression during a dream state where I was a Native American woman and I was holding a baby in my arms and I was wailing. I woke up crying, the most heart wrenching cry. It felt so real. It didn't feel like a dream. I remember like I woke up holding this child that wasn't there and crying because I knew it was going to die because I was going to get killed. And it was just so darn,
did the
so
dream happen
emotional.
after you had already been regressed a few times? Do you
No,
know?
I was getting dreams all along, and then I decided to go for a regression. So the first person I went to, she just regressed me, didn't talk to me after, sent me on my way. That was not a good experience. My girlfriend, who is my Reiki master teacher that trained me through all the levels, she regressed me, I believe, 2 or 3 times, and we worked on specific things. Like I said, I want to work on any judgments I might have had in any past life. Another time I said I want to work on a relationship with higher self, with a higher self of my husband for this lifetime. I want to work on forgiveness. Whatever it is. So I kind of set an intention of where I want it to be,
Okay.
and you go through the process. But it's a very deep process, and it's emotional, and it takes some time for everything to integrate because the only reason to know where you were in the past is to integrate it now. Otherwise, it's just entertainment, you know. So the whole point is to integrate and learn from whatever you've been through to understand and let things go that are no longer serving you in this time. So some of the people I've had on had said, people eliminate fears that way. Fear of snakes, fear of spiders, all kinds of things can go. Same like when I'm doing a reading, I can read the Akashic record field and find out who they used to be. So I had one of my clients that I did a reading for that was terrified of lions. She didn't know I didn't know that before she came to me. I did the reading and then I found out in the reading she was terrified of lions. And she was a Roman sacrifice during the Christian times. And she said she won't even go to a zoo because she was afraid a lion would get out of the cage and rip her apart. So after that experience of me reading that past life, she was able to let go of the fear. So you can do it either way. I mean, sometimes it's dreams, sometimes it's being regressed, and sometimes it is a reading. Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah, yeah. It's something what we learn, and I think really the whole point of why we're on Earth is to learn and to share
I
this
agree.
information. Share the information you have. So I wanted to also a- a- I want you to mention your website and how people can contact you, and if you work virtually as well or just in person.
So my website is www.kara-bout, B-O-U-T, yourbody.com. And my contact on there, you can reach me. My email is Kara Fragale, Kara, F as in frog, Ragale @gmail.com. And reach out that way. I will call you back. You can come in and see me. I do virtual. We talk, we do everything just like you were in front of me. And then I mail you an amazing kit. I call them the kits because I give you every tool you need to be successful. And I do
Mhm.
the thinking for you. I don't make you count your calories. I already did that. I don't make you go read labels. I already did that. I make it as easy as possible to make you successful. Because if you
Mhm.
could do it on your own, you would have done it by now. So why not
Right.
let me think
Yeah.
for you and then put you to work? I give you everything to be successful, not a failure.
Wonderful. And you're located in New Jersey as I am, right?
Yes.
So if they
Yes.
want to come to you, they can even do you also do your cooking classes, your healthy cooking classes, right? And
Yes.
if they go to your website, they can find those
Yeah,
posted?
but they get posted up there. They get posted up there. I was fortunate. I have two offices, and one is an old bank, and the old bank is a beautiful office, but the old bank had a big kitchen. So if you get through my office, you go down a hallway, it opens up into a kitchen and allows me to teach the cooking classes. So it's
Okay,
perfect.
cool,
Yeah.
cool. Very good. Do you have any last words or thoughts about anything you want to share before we wrap up today?
Just, you know what? You don't have to have achy joints. You don't have to feel inflamed. You don't have to have severe anxiety that food might be able to help, or just talking to someone that can give you the right guidance or make you feel better. Be open to the holistic side, the science side. It'll work together, and do it. Help yourself. If
Beautiful.
yourself feels better, then everyone around you is going to feel better.
Beautiful. Thank you so much,
I
Tara.
mean,
I loved having you. So I'm your host, Rosemary DiTrolio, on Lightwalker's Path, Grow Your Spirit with Rosemary. Thank you for spending this time. We hope we both inspired you. Please look Kara up, and you can check my information as well. And we had a pleasure talking together today, and hope we've helped to inspire you. Thanks.
I'm your host, Rosemary DiTrolio, and you've been watching and listening to The Lightwalker's Path. Learn about my workshops, sessions, courses, and more at info@rosemaryd.com. My website, rosemaryd.com, Hands of Light by Rosemary. Have a blessed and beautiful day.